time to knock some things off your bucket list. First up, travel the world. If you've always wanted to visit Hong Kong or vacation in the Swiss Alps and wondered what it was like, well, Jeanette, Evette, and Tina got the scoop for you. These jet-setting divas are always at some fun and exotic place experiencing the best of what life has to offer. And each week, they'll tell you all about it. These ladies are always high-flying loads of fun.
Hey, I'm Jeanette.
I'm Evette.
And I'm Tina. And we are the Jet Setting Divas. Hey, ladies, what's going on in the world of travel?
Let's talk about it. Solo travel.
So, okay, have you all been on a solo trip?
I used to kind of travel alone all the time, like for work, just flying alone, going get a rental car, driving alone. I used to do that a lot.
Oh, wow. I honestly, other than business, and that was probably, I want to say maybe 25, 30 years ago, I had no other choice. I traveled back and forth in the States alone. But you know what? I was I'm such a people person. I always stayed at the same hotel, and my favorite thing was to go down to the bar, after work.
That sounds about right.
And talk to everybody. I would be talking to I bet these people would be like, I don't even want to be bothered with this woman right now. But I would talk to everybody because I just wanted to engage and have conversation. And, I was away by myself. I'm like, I want to talk to somebody.
And I've traveled too, like Evette, on business trips by myself, but I really haven't traveled. I had never traveled out the country by myself. And I've never traveled on like just non-business trips by myself. And I think I would kind of be concerned, especially going overseas. I'd be concerned about safety. And if I'm by myself, but I see a lot of girls online traveling overseas by themselves, and they don't seem to have an issue.
Yeah, and I guess my question would be, when you go into a foreign country, a foreign language, a foreign, environment where you know nobody, so you have to really depend on your guide or concierge. That's a little scary to me. Now
it is
scary to me. Even how did you do it? Because you've gone.
Okay, so I have flown international. I went to Spain alone.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I flew alone into Spain. And a car picked me up, a stranger. I went and met my sister actually, and she sent a car to get me. So I'm assuming that it was safe. But my sister was actually working at the time. So during the daytime, I was alone. I was roaming around,
But what about people asking, I think you remember that movie Taken? I be thinking of stuff like that. Like, somebody here, oh, you're traveling alone. Hey, let's catch a cab together. And, we drop you off and now they know where I'm thinking, who's listening? Like, do you act like you really with someone or going to meet a group, or do you just tell people? Because I wouldn't tell anybody I'm traveling alone.
I'm going to tell you, when I was in Spain, I went to a bar, restaurant or so, and I was just sitting and having a drink, and a guy came up to me and he was trying to get me to go somewhere with him. I do remember that. And I was like, no.
Wow.
No, see? Like, come on, let's go. I was like, oh no. I don't know what. I think about that all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, because he probably was like,
have to be careful.
Make you have fun. And because when you go to a different country, we already know everybody wants you to see their country and love their country and be a part of things that are going on in their country. And they want to show you because, I was with someone, but this guy, he, bought these drinks and he wanted me to try all these different tastes of, Brazil and all that. And I was glad I was with someone because you don't know what he may have had with the bartender behind the bar. Oh, this lady's by herself, pour that whatever. Next thing you know, I done passed out and I'm in, all my organs are cut out or something like that. I be thinking crazy stuff.
So I would say for me, if I was going to travel overseas by myself on a solo trip, I would probably come in at a certain time. I would, even if I went out, I might go out and see if I can find, because they have those, just like the tours we've been on they're on Viator, they're on different websites. I would probably do some of those activities that I can get into a group with, where I've got maybe someone leading the the itinerary, and then I'm just with the whole group and I can stay because they'd be able to tell me. Also, I think it's good if you like you did what you did, Evette. You went over, you might have traveled by yourself, but you at least met somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I had somebody there, but most of the time I was really alone because she was at work during the daytime. Like we went to dinner at night, and when she got off of work, that was about it. But it's also a good idea to turn your location on, just like we did when we were in Italy. Yeah. We shared our location. I mean, share your location with someone at home.
Yeah, especially like your family back at home, because if something happens, and you know what, another problem that people have is their batteries die. You hear about your battery died, or your phone you were dead, or something like that, or we've gone to foreign countries where our phone didn't work in certain areas. So what do you do? You put a little air tag.
That's what you do. You have a battery pack. A backup.
My phone is getting low. I can go ahead and plug it up and get some, and I carry it with me everywhere. Like when you are traveling and you somewhere, don't leave it in your room. Put it in your purse, fanny pack, whatever, your crossbody. Take it with you. So if something did, happen like that you can charge your phone up.
Yeah, and what if you went on one of these vacations alone with a group that you've never been with before, and then you kind of feel sketchy about some of the things that are going on? Because I know traveling with a group, you're putting a lot of trust in people that you really don't know. Because if I go all the way to Africa and I'm going on a safari for 14 days, and something kind of looks sketchy, when do you back out, or I'm like,
I wouldn't back out. That's what I would say. What I would do is I would say the same things that I do here in the United States. We can go somewhere here and we can feel like a little sketchy. Keep your head on a swivel, like we always talk about, and then never go anywhere with anybody that you don't know. Don't get in the car with anyone you don't know. And then now,
but you don't know these people though. I mean, you're going on excursions. Like we had a friend. I guess she had a friend with her, but they were on excursions with people who were their tour guide. I don't really know you as my. You are just designated.
Well, a lot of times, what you can do is you can meet up. If a lot of times on these trips, there's someone here in the United States that's planning that trip. You can meet with them prior to going overseas.
They have like little meetups.
Yeah. I want to do a background check. I need to do a background check, because what if you just got out of prison and you just said, hey, you know what? I know this city really good. I'm gonna tour people around, and
Well, if you're a reputable travel person, like
so what's your definition of what's your definition of finding a reputable travel person?
I mean, you're gonna look them up. You're going to look them up and see how long they have been in business. Look at some of their previous travels. Possibly speak to somebody who have gone places.
Because I would even want to
social media. All you got to do is go to social media and see who was there before.
That's what I would want to do. I'd want to go, because I think when we picked some guy when we went to Bali, and it was Evette. It was based off of recommendations and people saying, I used him. I used him
exactly.
Because I question sometimes, as soon as you start Googling things or looking at stuff, that all the information start popping up in your boxes and your feeds and then you don't know if this is like a bot or something like that that's saying, hey, I can tell you everything about wherever you're going, and I can tour you around. I want to know for sure. I want to talk to someone.
You need to reach out to somebody.
People, when they do use, travel concierge, whatever it is that you use, that's why they go on there and say, thank you, such and such, and they'll tag that person. And so you can go back and look. At people use these individuals.
And what I would do, if I was going to use a group, I would talk to somebody who had been with that group on a trip.
Right.
Make sure. Or you just do, like I said, you do a local trip, you just go meet up with them before you go on this long trip. I would never go on a long trip with anybody with a group, and I didn't know any affiliation with anybody or hadn't talked to anybody else who had been on previous trips with them.
Yeah.
At least you got to do your background check, not a background check, but your information.
A lot of people love to travel. They love to travel, but some people have a hard time getting others to go with them.
Yeah.
I understand that.
That's why people just want to do solo travel. They like, I'm just gonna go. Next thing you plan a trip, you got 10 people going. When the date comes, you be the last one left.
Yeah, exactly.
People back
and
out.
it happens so many times. But I've taken one solo trip by myself. I went to DC for like one of my birthdays, and it was when Obama was in office, and I just said I just want to go to DC. I didn't really ask anybody. It was kind of something I just wanted to do. And let me tell you some of the crazy stuff that happened to me. One, I stayed at this wonderful, beautiful hotel. It was a little bit rainy, and I went to a one-act play. It was with Malcolm Jamal Warner, and I went by myself. And the Uber driver dropped me off at the place, and it was like at this dock way far out somewhere. Well, this was at the very beginning of ride share stuff. And the Uber they didn't want to come back and get me, to go back to my hotel. And I was like panicking, no cab, because it was like I would say like a harbor, like one of those like harbors. And it was like in this theater way in the back, and there was no lights, and it was really, really wet and cold. And I was like, how am I going to get home? And do you know who helped me? Malcolm Jamal Warner's mother.
Oh, wow.
That's how I got back to the hotel.
Okay.
They had a car service, and their car service, they wasn't ready.
They saw you out there looking nervous and scared, like something's about to happen.
No, you know what? Luckily, I have the personality. I had been talking to the lady the whole time at the theater, because I didn't even know that was his mother. She was sitting next to me. And now when I say this is like maybe 30, 40 people. It wasn't a lot of people. It was him on the stage doing a one-act show by himself in DC. And I was just talking to this lady, and I said, I love him. I named my son after. I'm over here talking to the lady and everything like that. So she knew who I was. So when everybody was packing up and leaving, I was still there trying to get the guy to come. And they was like, was everything okay? I said, I'm trying to get my ride back. And then I was trying to call a hotel, because they were like, call us, we'll send someone to come get you or something. Like, none of this stuff was working. And she was like, well, we have a car. If you like, I didn't get in the car with them. Their car service person took me to another spot where I can catch a Uber. And then they went back, because they were like, there's other stuff going on. But you know what? I was by myself. I was scared as heck.
It's funny that you say that, because I know I was working in Virginia, and I was like, I want to go to DC. And so I was like, and I was alone, and I had a rental car, and I just got in the car and just went for the day and just drove up to DC and just toured all kind of different places. And I was by myself, and I was fine.
Yep. And you know what?
I think if you're out in the daytime, see, you were out at night. That's what I would say for a solo trip, especially for women travelers. And then I know people who've traveled over to like places like Dubai by themselves. And I know they say if there is a woman being by themselves traveling, if they're out at night, the people will tell them who are you with. They expect them to be with a man. So you need to look at what type of, where you're traveling to. Are there any customs, or are there any certain traditions that a man should be with the woman when he travels? And this girl particularly, she told me that she had a guy coworker, and when she would go out, a lot of times she would go out with him.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But I don't discourage it. I like, I don't want to sit in a restaurant by myself, eat, taking pictures of food and just eating, because it just seems weird to me in another country. I don't know.
People don't have a choice though. If you don't have anybody to travel with, and then the younger people, I think they like traveling by themselves. They solo travel has really become popular.
I see this a lot, like on a lot of those travel Facebook groups. Somebody might say, "I'm going to be in Tulum this day through this day. Anybody else going to be there?"
And I'm gonna come and kill you. I'm gonna come and kill you.
They do that a lot.
That sounds like taking to me. It sounds like
no, it's not.
They do that a lot on social media.
I do not. I guess I want to believe, and maybe I watch too many Fatal Attractions.
You do.
And Dateline specials, but
I don't think I would do that. I would never post on social media.
Yeah.
No,
I'm gonna be in a certain place by myself, because they'll say it's my birthday and I'm gonna be there by myself.
Yeah.
Does anybody else gonna be there, or does somebody want to join me? You know, and you didn't talk to a total stranger that's gonna come and join you.
I would definitely prefer, if I was going to another country, I would want to know someone. Like, remember when we were in London and there was a lady that we met and she was traveling. She was traveling alone, but she was going to meet someone who she had met traveling. And I mean, but at least she knew people in that region or in that area that, maybe I can call on them just in case something happens. But I would want something like that. If I go to Mexico, I want to know that maybe another big group is going to Mexico from the same place that I'm at, or maybe, you and Jeanette are already traveling, maybe y'all a few hundred miles away, y'all somewhere, and I'm going to be close.
So do you stay on the resort? So what about this? Just say you're going to Cancun and you're going alone.
I would do that as a solo trip. Yeah, I would stay on the resort.
Stay on the resort. Stay on a nice, big, fancy, luxury resort where they have a lot of restaurants. They have a lot of different things to do, and don't leave.
Because
that's what I say.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, when we were there, I didn't even have a reason to leave other than the fact that people couldn't get on. I had to pick people up at the airport, or we had some random trip to a mall that we never made it to. Other than that, I never would have left.
Yeah, because they won't even hardly let you off the resort. They be having these resorts locked down.
Yeah, they have great security at the resorts in Mexico. So
I remember they wouldn't let Mia off. They wouldn't let her out of there.
Yes, and I want to say that it's best because you know what, those are secure to me, because they won't let nobody. You can't even cross their part of the beach.
Yeah.
And that's the part I really enjoyed about them. It's like, you're not getting over here. No way, no how. But I have to say that, I feel like you are a brave soul if you go out and you travel out of the country into a foreign place that you've never been before. Now, if you've been there, like Mexico, I can go to Mexico because I kind of know the lay of the land. I know what I want to do. Mm-hmm. But if I had to go to some place like Zanzibar, or I'm going to, Dubai or something like that, I ain't never been before, I'm going with a group. I'm sorry. That's just me.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I think we've given our listeners a lot of information about traveling solo, being safe, and things to consider so that they'll stay safe and get back home safely. Well, I'm Jeanette.
And I'm Evette.
And I'm Tina. And we are the Jet Setting Divas.
Woo!
Tune in next Thursday when the Jet Setting Divas will tell you about another fun destination spot that you'll want to visit. For more on their excursions, log on to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house creating broadcast-quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.